Now this one is very important. In IGCSE or O-level physics, we generally do not study about the sign convention. So this is your origin. This point has been taken as the reference. If you're on the right side with respect to origin, so you see you stand on the right side with respect to origin, your displacement is positive. If you stand on left side with respect to this origin, your displacement is negative. If you stand on the origin itself, on the reference point, your displacement is 0. Let's talk about the sign convention for velocity. Very important one for the velocity. If your direction of motion is towards right side, your velocity is positive. So your velocity is positive. And what about the displacement? Your displacement is also positive. Why? Because you're on the right side of the origin. Let's talk about the next one. Since you're moving on the left side, your direction of motion is towards the left side. That means your velocity is negative now. Negative. But can you tell me the direction of displacement? Should it be positive or negative? What about the sign for displacement? The displacement would be positive. Yes. Why? Because you're on right side of the origin. The direction of motion does not affect the sign of displacement. The direction of motion helps to determine the sign of velocity. The sign of displacement is determined by your position with respect to the origin. If you're on the right side, no matter where you're moving, even if you were moving on the right side, your displacement would have been positive. Even if you're moving on the left side, your displacement is still positive. Why? Because you're on right side of the origin. Let's talk about the third case. So for the third case, your velocity is first of all positive. How is it positive? Because you're moving on the right side. Your direction of motion is towards the right side no matter where you're standing, but you're facing the right side. You're trying to move on the right side. What about the direction of displacement? Can you guess? Negative. Why? Because this is your origin. The central point is the origin, and you're standing on left side of this origin. If you're standing on left side, no matter where you're moving, your displacement would be negative. Let's talk about the last one. So once again, this is your origin, this point. So what about the direction of velocity? Positive or negative? Since you're facing the left side, you're moving the left side, moving towards the left side, your velocity is negative. And what about the displacement? Because you're standing on the left side of the origin, hence your displacement would be negative. So displacement, the sign of displacement is calculated by your position. Okay, you can write the bottom line. Displacement, its sign is determined by position, where you stand with respect to reference point. And for the velocity, it is represented, the sign is determined with your direction of motion, no matter what your position is. Even if you're standing on the left side or right side, if you're moving on the right side, no matter where you stand, if you're moving on the right side, your velocity would be positive. Likewise, no matter where you stand, if you're moving towards the left side, your velocity would be negative.